Good morning, all. Camelback Trading 2724 coming to you this Friday morning, May 22nd. We're looking at the last 4 days of the market profile of the SPY ETF here on Window Trader. And just quickly before we talk about today, as many of you know that watch my videos, I had a very, very poor day yesterday. All my fault, as I violated every rule in the book that I have for myself and that I try to educate people on in my trading room. And then last night, an ex-partner of mine, who's now a finance professor at LIU, asked me to speak to his investment club. And to be honest with you, that was kind of the last thing I wanted to do after the day I had yesterday. But it ended up turning out to be one of the best things, because after speaking to these young ladies and gentlemen, I was the lady who put it together, a junior at the school. We were on early as she was helping me set everything up. And I just explained this market profile to her and just realized how incredibly these young people can pick up this so much quicker than we can as adults. It's amazing. And then I had one gentleman ask me a question, which was a perfect question. He didn't know what kind of day I had. He goes, how do you deal with your emotions, both the highs and the lows? He goes, because I'm having trouble doing that as we do these investments for the club. And they're trading with real money. This isn't fake money. This is real money these guys and girls trade with for the school. And I basically said, look, I put in my head, I'm as good as my last trade. You're only as good as your last trade. You can't get too high. You cannot get too low. I mean, I have a trading room I have to speak in front of all day. My day was blown up by D period yesterday. And as much as you're churning inside, you try to keep it inside. You try to be as professional as possible and tell people what you did wrong and why you did it. So it's a great lesson out there for both experienced traders and new traders, how to deal with your emotions, because your mental reserve is just as important, if not as important, as your capital reserve. So actually, it turned out to be a very good thing for me doing that last night. It actually helped me probably more than it helped those kids. So let's get to what's going on today. And as you can see, clear as day, we are in a 4-day balance. This market is still waiting for market-generated information, right? After a huge gap up on Monday, we've now traded sideways basically for 4 days. We have very visual POCs that, look at yesterday's. Yesterday's POC is above Tuesday's, below Monday's just by a little bit. So buyers and sellers have been stuck in this range. Very happy to do business here. We had a trend day down yesterday, although it turned into a B shape. Again, it was definitely short-term sellers, because if this was long-term money, you wouldn't have driven down in C and D and then just traded in a rotational day the whole day and ended with 11 wide. Just wouldn't happen. Again, the sellers could say, well, the buyers have gotten nothing out of this since that huge gap. And on the flip side, the buyers can easily say, well, we have that huge gap. You barely dipped your toe into it on Tuesday, and we're just resting up. Remains to be seen which camp is right. SPY closed at 294.88 yesterday. That's exactly last month's high. Exactly from the inside month that we've attempted to come out of now 4 times. Mechanical doesn't get more mechanical than that. All right, destinations for this morning. With just over an hour to go. Now, earlier this morning, we were trading a little bit below yesterday's low. If that is to be the case and we gap lower than yesterday's low, we'll use it on both sides. Of 293.69 would be your first upside destination if we gap lower. Then we have 294.92, which is our pre-market high. Then 295.35, which was 11 wide. 295.82, afternoon rally high from H period. And then the single prints, 295.94, get filled at 296.27. 297.67 yesterday's high, and 297.87 daily high, poor high. And as of right now, would be a weekly high if we don't take it out. So it'd be a poor high for the weekly if we do not take it out today. For the downside, we have yesterday's low of 293.69, and then the 19th low of 291.95, and then filling that huge gap down at 286.33, a 562-point gap. Now, looking at the tempo And the volume we've had, yesterday's volume was in the 70s, absolutely horrible. So unless that was to increase dramatically, the odds of filling that gap the first time into it are very, very slim. You also have to factor into the point that Monday's a holiday. Now, in the past, when everybody was at work, there'd be a lot of people who took off the Friday also, and the volume would absolutely dry up as the day goes on. The fact that everybody's still working from home, we'll see if that's still the case. But considering the volume we've had, considering the balance we've been in, I think it would take something pretty impressive to move this market big one way or the other today. So what's the game plan? Well, right off the bat, balance rules will apply, right? Traders will do its work till it doesn't work anymore, which means if you come out and take out yesterday's low, good, the odds of trading down and testing May 19th low and the balance low are good. Question is what happens there, right? It's more of a powerful thing because buyers usually buy at the bottom of a balance, but you also have a huge gap below us. So again, odds are you'd probably find buyers around this area or a little bit below it. On the flip side, same to the upside. We have two highs here. We got to within 10 cents of Wednesday's high yesterday and couldn't take it out. So I would think, again, sellers might defend the top of a balance, right? So again, you could be a buyer here, you could be a seller here. However, the balance rules, and we've gone over them a million times, if they do go through the balance, you have to be aware of continuation. If you get it, you have to get out of that trade. Right? If you're short and we get accepted above, out. If you're long, you get accepted below, out. As far as what's transpiring right now, well, we've been dipping our toe in and out of yesterday's range. That's a habit that the market usually has a lot of times. So if we take out yesterday's low, are we going to get acceleration? Remains to be seen. If we don't, we're going to trade back and forth. Right? M period from Tuesday and M period from yesterday are going to be very important. Right? M period the day of is useless. M period the next day, the following days becomes an important factor. Right now, sellers are trying to keep and stay inside M's range from the 19th. If you do and take out yesterday's low, there's a good chance you're going to at least go and try to test the bottom of M range from the 19th. If, look, we're testing both M range here and here. So on the flip side, if you get accepted back into yesterday's M range, get above settlement, well then for sure you're going to go and trade at that 11 wide POC. So are there trades here? Possibly. They're not going to be with any conviction either way for me, right? I think I would want to wait and see if we take out yesterday's low and get any acceleration before I got on board with a short. Then you can do that, right? My first destination would certainly be the 19th low. If you get accepted back into yesterday's range, I'd be out of that trade. On the flip side, if you get accepted back into M range from yesterday, above M range from the 19th, once you get over settlement, which was 294.88, now your POC is only at 295.35, but still 47 cents higher. So I would think any acceptance over yesterday's settlement, you can get a decent trade up to POC. Those are early trades. And once again, in my trading room, you'll know up to the date what I'm looking to do as the market opens and evolves throughout the day. Okay, and then charts. So monthly, right? We close exactly 294.88, and that's last month's high. 5 days to go in the trading month. Is the inside month going to get any legs to it? It remains to be seen. We are above the trend line, though. Weekly, same thing. I think weekly might even be more important. You'd like to close above 294.88 today because then I could firmly call the weekly up. If we close below 294.88, I'll call it balance to up. Little nuances, but you want to get distance away from the previous 3 weeks balance. And then on the daily, basically the same thing, right? We talked about this many times. It's a 4-day balance, but right now you're basically right inside the top of this huge balance. So the bears want to continue to drive down into that balance, take out yesterday's low, and then go for that Tuesday low to attack the gap. Buyers want to at least stay in yesterday's range and have a chance to take out Wednesday's and Thursday's highs and go for that 200-day moving average. Remains to be seen which side comes out on top. Good luck trading today. Have a great day. Come check us out at camelbacktrading.org, and we'll recap the day and the week at 4 p.m.